Yep, yep, yep. You know what that means. D-Boy West Coast Uncensored. How's everybody over there in the uncensored land feeling, doing? Marching on? Taking care of self? Start being the computer programmer of yourself? Quit allowing that which is outside you to manipulate your volume, your program, and who you are. Ooh, that's a mouthful, D-Boy. Yeah, it is. I'm talking to myself, too, because all this is a walk. When I say that, it is your journey in your life that you must learn to deal with. And I'm talking to must learn, I'm speaking to myself. I'm not going outside myself. The problem is things that want to pamper you into going outside of yourself will keep you outside of yourself. And you don't know the vast aspect of self is also very much connected to the vast aspect of that which is outside of you, because the connection of innerverse is connection to outerverse, or universe. Notice the unification and the verses in one word. Bang. That's what I'm talking about when you start understanding lit. But this isn't going to be a show of lit today. Like, we're going to be a little different. This is going to be the contrarian one. Right? The contrarian one. But we're going to call this... that's the thing I thought of when I was going through what I was going through. It's really on the contrary. And this is really you dealing with that side of you, because it is you that's contrary to the side of the other side of you, which is ready to go and maybe go and blast off and make changes. And the other side feels no children left behind, if you know what I mean. Kind of applicable, applying. This is key because we have a lot of knowledge, and knowledge in the occult world, in anything that you have occult knowledge, and occult knowledge is not a cult. Occult knowledge is what your government uses, and many who understand occult knowledge is knowing symbols and reading symbols. Similar to seeing a gang tag something, and nobody, and the 60-year-olds who drive by don't understand what that says, and then judge it as being, oh, that's ugly, when really the people who it was intended for and the ones who gave it and received it know exactly what the message was. That means it was occult knowledge, hidden knowledge that you would have to come and know the meaning in that realm, which means anything hidden being brought back to light. It's the same word in the Greek as revelation. That which is hidden is revealed. Why I'm saying this, you need to know that about you. We've been kept out of ourselves for a long time by aspects of distraction, which always play the outside game. Because if you go inside, you can't be stopped by no one, and I mean no one. Only you can. Actually, you get in your way when you do that. You're the only one that has power to stop you. In the long run, you do. Because you gave into distraction for numerous around of decades, years, and times, you were costly to yourself still, because you never took the influence to understand to make changes. Swerve. I mean, and a lot of people just don't see it. Let's just be honest. They don't see it. That things don't become like, there's something about that just don't make sense. You see it. I see it every day. With a trust. And then you start seeing, what's a trust? Trust is something you build with somebody, but it's also something that you have. Stuff like that can be stolen. Your trust, right? That's a whole different show in a whole different way. I'm not going to go. But this is about on the contrary. And it's kind of like this. I was looking at this as me versus me. How can I always be versus me? And it's kind of what I said earlier. You got a word describing the universe, right? It's a uni, which means a unit, or a unification, or a unity, which is special, coming together in unity. But immediately it ends it with a tail that says versus, meaning the unity versus. That right into duality first. The poles. The duality is poles. That's why it's called, I won't go, well, I am. Politics. That's about the poles. It's about keeping you one side or the other and not coming center, because that's BALANCE, balance, which is top notch. Like the Who said, hoping you won't get fooled again. And don't fool yourself. Don't play the fool on yourself. So we got a side of us that is always contrary, especially when you start having a growth in a consciousness and you start dealing with these things in yourself and you start finding there's energies to kick into to elevate changing. I like to call these changes, you break, maybe even break and stop habits. Remember, not all habits are bad. That we always tend to think 90% of the time, this is the imbalance of us, that habits are bad, but there's actually good habits that you put into that you're consistent in, right? That's the other side. And then I look at the word that if you have bad habits all the time, you create little elves, or I call them hobbits. This one thing I know is for sure is true. Watch. So we have one aspect against one aspect, but it's really both sides of you. The universe, the tail and the beginning, right? And it's within you, and how do you defeat something, but you really would be defeating you with one side, and you don't want to be in balance, because if you're only one side, then you're not the fullness of thereof of who you are, because that other side is a reflection of you that you see in darkness. It is a spectrum, right? The spectrum of light that's revealing. The light comes more, shines in you, and you see you have shadows. Maybe there's parts of you that has resentment, a bitterness, envy, unforgiveness about people or other things, parents. It could, whatever your walk is, your journey that produced this aspect, to rectify it or bring it into a healing process, a conjuring, a love process. So what I was looking at, you have one side against one side, but we're ignoring something. And think about in our car. What do we have in our car that differs, that we don't really use? And that's the neutral gear. Or lack gear. Do we call it even a gear? You mechanics that know better than me and the natural, I don't know, but we have neutral. And I noticed the only time I really use neutral is when I go clean my car. They'll ask you to put the car in neutral, right? If you're going through a drive-through car wash. And I thought about that. I go, car represents your vehicle, your body, and it's getting a cleansing inside out. Woo-hoo-hoo, think about it. It's getting a cleansing inside out, but it needed to go to a state of neutrality, being centered. Neutral doesn't mean that you're avoiding it. No, it means you're neutral. You're not leaning to a left judgment or right judgment of yourself. You're leaning to neutral. That's where your power is. That's where you get an in and out cleaning in this. Think about it. That's where, say, put that car in neutral, and we're going to allow it to be pushed up through, and you don't have to maneuver the vehicle. You're in neutral. And then we're going to do an outward and inward cleaning for you, a full cleansing. And now apply this to yourself. If you can go into the neutral, that neutral spaces, how much you could bridge a gap between that which comes against you and that which is trying to elevate, but you're both of them. You're the yin and yang. You're the other side of you. Your depth, your being is multidimensional. Your spectrum reflects in each diverse part. Think about it. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about, I shall lead all men will remember all things. The scripture talks about remembering all things. That member is the different parts of consciousness and the different parts of you that you need to put that remember, that part back together again. Humpty Dumpty found out the long way. It ain't done by the kings and his men, by the political system. They're the ones that knocked you down and broke you up anyways. Ooh, D-boy. Yeah, I can go there. But that's not we're majoring. We're majoring about us as people. How can we come to the balance of ourselves? More on this. Remember this. Subscribe, like. Please subscribe, like, and share. We want the subscribes, like, and share all the time. How about SSL? Subscribe, share, and like. Or like, subscribe, and share. But otherwise, stay lit. And I mean it. Stay lit. That is our key word when we depart from here. We're going to stay lit. We're going to stay the fire burning. You guys have a great day.